So Virginia Cathro, she was flying up to Wellington from Dunedin, 79 Otago students, and she just was stepping onto the plane when it was like, uh-oh, this is not a good idea. So she's back in Dunedin. So I said to her, well, so she's now stuck trying to be able to access us. So I'm speaking on her behalf. And she said, you know, this week, she said, I spoke to 3 of our students who did this contest in the past and had taken some role. And they said, we've got jobs, and our confidence in the job, our ability to get the job and to do it is entirely because of doing this contest. It is a hugely important thing for them, she said, in terms of employability and the skills to be able to do it. So virtually, Virginia, thank you very much for all of your leadership of all these Otago students and the numbers who stepped up into leadership roles. So the University of Otago Business School are the sponsors for the Global Peer Leader Award. And so these are team members who received, again, glowing feedback from teammates. They had an insightful reflection about what does it take to step into that role, to be able to support your leader but to lead. That they had a quality team proposal. If they didn't do good work, it wasn't worth anything. And they either shown as a peer leader for one of 3 reasons. One of the leaders invited them to lead, or the team leader fell over or got sick or got COVID or family members died, or, you know, a lot of tragedies are going on out there, mental breakdowns, for various reasons why folks could no longer lead. And these people went, oh my word, who's going to do it? It's got to be me. And they stepped up into that. And then there's the ones who excelled despite some really tough personal challenges. So there's different ways that people shone in this award. To a certain extent, you could do better in this award if you were in a team where the team leader didn't thrive. Most teams were brilliant, but not all of them. So who's won this award? Well, the first winner is Anusha Banerjeef, who's living in Dubai but studying in the United Kingdom. And her project was Easy Flow, about cloth sanitary pads for India. And she happened to be one of the ones that stepped up because the team had a leader who failed to fire. So Eduardo Diaz was going to collect on behalf of Anusha, but congratulations to Anusha for winning that award. Ferdinand Bent from the Netherlands. Now we had 180, I think, from the Netherlands. In every team, there was a Dutch team member. They've got a magnificent academic who leads the program. And they absolutely reliable, the Dutch. But in this team, the team leader got into trouble. So he stepped up and they created this Green Stars project for a hostel competition for voluntary cleanup for tourism areas in Thailand. So this was about creating a business, about building, enabling people to meet each other and join and have the fun and make a difference in Thailand. Great concept. And again, his leader burnt out, so he stepped up into that role. And he was left kind of stranded going, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And, you know, I can't tell you how the courage it takes when you aren't automatically given the leader role and yet you step up. So Nico van Oudenaren was going to collect on his behalf. So the next winner of this award is Katarina from the University of Otago. And she had a project called Milk Soap, and she understood about how New Zealand's got far and away the biggest exporter of dairying in the world. We enormous exporters of it, and yet tucked in there is a lot of waste of that milk. So she's looking at repurposing that milk waste into soap. So she was invited to be a co-leader by Mirabel Gu, who was the leader. She saw the talent of Katarina and asked her if she'd be a co-leader, and they were an absolutely powerful, unstoppable team. The next winner is Matteo Longoni, who's from Italy, and they had a project called Scrap. And this is an app looking at the CO2 footprint based in the United States of America. And again, he had to step up when his leader was facing a major personal crisis. So, you know, that courage is extraordinary, really. It's not an easy thing to do. So Selena Wang was one of our star performers who was going to collect on behalf of Matteo. And then the Peer Leader Award, Shashank Ray from India, on the project Fuel for All, looking at repurposing excess food from hotels and restaurants in Delhi, India. So Shashank's father died from COVID on the first day of this contest. And we were hearing from people in India just the heartbreak and the tragedy and the how difficult it was to get any support. And he wrote and he said, look, I don't believe I can be a good enough team member. I have so much grief. And we wrote back and said, it's up to you if you choose to continue or not. But it's also up to the team to be here and being a loving support for you. That's part of being a team member, is that you support your colleagues. And so he decided to stay on. And my gosh, he was just such a powerful team member there. So Pradeep Kaur was going to connect on behalf of Shashank. And then the winner of the Global Peer Leader Award is Clarissa Gurnt, who's from the Netherlands, one of these 180 remarkable students that we had from the Netherlands. And they were looking at Malemo pap sauces. And they had some team members from South Africa who said, well, everybody eats this kind of a porridgey pap stuff, but it doesn't taste that good, really. And so they were wondering how they could get more nutrition into the diets. And so they were looking at using moringa tree as one of the sources to be able to get nutrition into it and making a profitable business out of it. And so one of the clever things they looked at was how to get adoption and diffusion and build from a small base and to be successful. So Clarissa was invited to be a co-lead by her leader of her team, Summer Pritchard, and Summer was going to collect on behalf of her teammate, Clarissa. So huge admiration to all of our co-leaders. Do you know, we had around about 80 or 90 people step up. Some were invited and some step up into these co-leader roles, and they were just remarkable, absolute powerhouses. Really, really impressive.